Now we return to local news with Phil.
A man charged with a murder in Enfield 6 years ago told police he would not be held responsible for his actions if he was put in prison with his co-accused, the Old Bailey heard on Friday. In interview, Adrian Thomas, who was charged with murder in September last year, was informed that Robert Bernard, who flew to Thailand on the day Dwayne Tomlin was shot in Dendridge Close in July 2007, would face the same charge following his extradition to the UK. Detective Constable Wayne Duggan, who was investigating the murder and took Thomas back to the cells, told the court he was clearly upset and was crying. He came to me and shouted, "That other guy, if I go to the same jail as him, I will not be responsible for what I am going to do to him." He added, "I thought that other guy to be Robert Bernard." The court previously heard Mr. Tomlin was armed with a loaded handgun and a pistol and was wearing body armour when a minicab he was in was ambushed at a car park in the Elsing estate. Thomas, 29, of Lion Road, Edmonton, and Bernard, 30, of No Fixed Abode, deny murder and possessing a firearm with intent to endanger life. The trial continues.
A restaurant owner has been fined £25,000 after being prosecuted by Enfield Council for setting up a banqueting suite without planning permission. Gersel Aksu, 49, of Hyde Way, Edmonton, who owns and runs the Curvan restaurant chain in Enfield, converted his car showroom in 4th Street, Edmonton, into the Curvan banqueting suite. The venue also included a hairdressing salon, cafe, photographer's studio and a car park. In 2009, Aksu applied for but was refused planning permission for the site. Yet the following year he began building works. During this period, despite receiving stop notices from the council due to noise complaints and highway safety concerns, Aksu continued the illegal building works and trading on the site. In 2011, he gained conditional planning permission after submitting a second application, but final consent was not given until June 2012. At Wood Green Crown Court, Aksu was found guilty of contravening stop notices under planning legislation 10 times. And on September the 9th, in addition to the fine, Aksu was ordered to pay £9,000 costs to the council with a confiscation order of £52,500 made under the Proceeds of Crime Act. If Aksu fails to pay within a year, he faces up to 3 years in prison. Cabinet Member for Environment Chris Bond said, "Planning rules are there to protect residents from inappropriate and disruptive developments, and it is completely unacceptable that a company utterly ignores these laws and instructions to stop trading when the council intervenes." Mr. Bond added, "This punishment by the court is a huge slap in the face to people who trade illegally and think they can do whatever they want, regardless of the impact their activities have on people living near the businesses."
Nothing beats a lovely home-cooked meal, but what if you aren't up to making one yourself? Well, consider Casserole Club. That could be the answer. The project was set up with the aim of connecting people who like to cook with those who could benefit from a home-cooked meal. After being tested successfully in the Surrey towns of Reigate and Banstead, where it attracted more than 250 members, it was extended to 2 London boroughs, Barnet and Tower Hamlets, in June. Casserole Club was started by Future.gov, a company which works to develop new services for councils and communities. And the company is working with social care organisation, the Barnet Group, with backing from Barnet Council, to ensure that those in the borough in need of a decent meal get just that. Troy Henschel, Director of Business Services at the Barnet Group, said, "Casserole Club offers a chance for Barnet residents to get to know their neighbours over a good meal and will really benefit our community." The first cooks from Barnet signed up for Casserole Club at the end of June, with the first meal delivered just days later. Ben Matthews, Communications Chief at Casserole Club, said, "Barnet is doing really well. There are around 25 diners and at least 4 times as many cooks. There are already people who have done 3 of 4 weekly meals throughout July and August. The cooks are easy to find as they're happy signing up online. Diners tend to be older people, and we find them through Age UK, lunch clubs, libraries, etc. It's not just about the cooking either, but the interaction. People don't just drop off food, but they will stay for a chat. That is very true of diner Louise Jennings, who says that she looks forward to her visits from cook Becky and her young children. Mrs. Jennings of Goldsmiths Road, Free and Barnet said, "I'm in my 90s now. I live by myself and my own family live a fair distance away, so it's lovely to have young children around the house. I'm pretty much housebound at the moment, apart from when the ambulance comes to pick me up, so it's lovely to have company. It's so nice to have a home-cooked meal and to know where it has been cooked, rather than just coming from the supermarket. But, more than that, it is about the friendship." The widow who joined Casserole Club after the team visited the Anne Owen Centre in East Finchley, which she uses, said that so far she had had a fish pie, shepherd's pie and a beef casserole. She added, "Often it's hard enough for families with young children to find the time to cook a meal for themselves, let alone someone else. But Becky is over-generous and she will often bring enough for more than one meal. Catering for someone else is certainly no hassle," says cook Bayaja Ram of East Finchley, "as you always end up making too much food anyway." The 64-year-old of Tarling Road said, "Everyone always cooks too much food. It's very rare that you cook just enough for the people sat around the table. If you've got food left over, it's good to give it to someone. It's not costing me anything, apart from a bit of petrol, to deliver it, and I have cooked it anyway."
Southgate MP David Burrows will take action to support those living in the borough with dementia. The MP joined 200 other MPs and representatives from the Alzheimer's Society at Portcullis House in Westminster, where he provided a handwritten statement declaring his involvement in helping people who suffer from dementia. Mr. Burrows said, "Alzheimer's disease is a difficult disease to cope with. It affects not only the person suffering from the disease, but also has an adverse effect on the family. 1 in 3 people over 65 will develop dementia, and it is a health issue we cannot afford to ignore anymore." Campaigners were in Westminster to help gain support for the new initiative, Dementia Friends, launched in February this year. The scheme hopes to gain a better understanding of the disease and act upon it, aiming to gather 1 million friends in the next 2 years.
Enfield Council has won national recognition for the work it has carried out in helping to crack down on illegal moneylenders. The National Stop Loan Sharks Award competition, run by the England Illegal Moneylending Team, was decided on by an online public vote, and Enfield's win recognised the Council's commitment to raising awareness of the problem. The winning project placed importance on making sure that residents who are affected by illegal moneylenders get the help they need. Part of this support includes the Council working to bring together organisations including the police, Citizens Advice Bureau, housing providers and the Department for Work and Pensions to try and ensure that residents can get access to a range of help. Chris Bond, Cabinet Member for the Environment, said he was delighted with winning the award. Enfield Council has made tackling illegal money lending a major priority in order to protect our most vulnerable residents, he said. The aim of the project is to also show the unforeseen consequences of borrowing from illegal moneylenders. We are trying to demonstrate that borrowing money from a loan shark is never a good idea and can have unexpected and unpleasant long-term consequences, Mr. Bond added. The prize for the winner is £1,000, which was taken from convicted loan sharks to help fund the project further.
Enfield MPs David Burrows and Nick Dubois have changed from pink to blue to support a breast cancer campaign. To support Wear It Pink Day on Friday, October the 25th, the two Conservatives are encouraging people to sign up for the event by donning pink clothing. Around 50,000 women and 400 men are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in the UK. Cancer Charity Breast Cancer Campaign is trying to unite everyone in wearing pink and raising enough money to help stop the 12,000 women and 18 men who die from the disease each year. Enfield Southgate MP Mr Burrows said, "I was proud to purchase and wear it Pink Day and remembered that breast cancer is the most common cancer in the UK, accounting for nearly 1 in 3 of all cancers in women. I would therefore ask you to join me and Nick, wear something pink and donate £2. Plus, I guarantee that pink sunglasses look fetching on anyone." Mr Dubois, who represents Enfield North, said, "It's a great campaign and I am delighted to give it my best support. To register, visit www.wearitpink.org.
An avid 76-year-old gardener has won 3 gold medals in a row at an Enfield gardening competition. Irene Frost of Ingerborough, a residential flat in Enfield, completed a hat-trick of top prizes at the Enfield in Bloom competition. She was selected for her small front garden made up of geraniums, fuchsias and marigolds. The keen gardener said, "I won the last 2 years and I thought, why not enter again? It has always been my passion to garden since I was 9 in my parents' house, and it means a lot to me to pick up this accolade again." Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Environment, Councillor Chris Bond, said, "This year's winners have demonstrated a remarkable degree of skill and ability to produce spectacular displays in a variety of settings, and I congratulate them all for their hard work. Enfield in Bloom is one of the jewels in the borough's horticultural crowns, and each and every person involved in this competition, regardless of how they got on, has made a fantastic contribution to the look and feel of this borough." Also claiming gold was Churchfield Primary School in Latimer Road, Enfield, which won the gold medal in the school grounds category. All winners will be presented with their awards at a ceremony in November at the Royal Chase Hotel in the Ridgeway, Enfield.
An 88-year-old woman knowingly took her own life, an inquest heard. Jacqueline Hardy, 88, of Gordon Hill, Enfield, committed suicide on January the 13th, 2013. At an inquest last Tuesday, Coroner Andrew Walker judged her to have been of sound mind at the time of her death. Miss Hardy was described by her GP, David Murray, on November the 12th, 2012, as upset, that she could no longer do a lot of the things she used to, but the doctor believed that she had not shown any indication of suicide at the time. She was found hanged in her bathroom on January the 13th. PC Edward Betsy, who attended the scene, said 2 notes had been left in the home, one to her son Frederick Hardy, and the other asking not to be resuscitated. The inquest also revealed that she had made more than one attempt to commit suicide, the other known attempt in 1968. At Barnet Coroner's Court in Wood Lane, Mr. Walker questioned the frame of mind that the 88-year-old was in when she hanged herself. However, after reading written evidence from her GP and hearing the evidence from PC Betsy, Mr. Walker was satisfied with the evidence that Miss Hardy had knowingly intended to commit suicide.
Members of the Tea Party were given a surprise visit when the Archbishop of Westminster attended a Palmer's Green church. The Most Reverend Vincent Nichols attended a tea party at St Monica's Parish Church in Stonard Road as part of a charity project by Contact the Elderly. The project was set up to help elderly people who are isolated in communities and live alone, finding it difficult to get out and about without help. Established in March this year, the group, the majority in their 80s and 90s, meet for tea on the same Sunday of every month, and on Sunday, September the 15th, they were given a surprise when the senior Catholic clergyman visited the group. Archbishop Vincent said, "This Sunday tea party is a delight, with gracious older guests mixing with 3 generations of the host family. When a family opens its home in this way, everyone is blessed. The elderly return home, often to days of loneliness, but with joy in their hearts." Tracy Layton, the volunteer host, said, My family was delighted to welcome this small group of older people and their volunteer drivers into our home for afternoon tea, which we enjoyed as much as they did. Many of the older guests told us how much they look forward to these monthly outings, and it was great to see for themselves how much they were all enjoying themselves. Guest Valerie Smith, 28, said, "I really enjoy the tea parties. Everyone is so kind, and I count the Sundays down until the next one. It is no fun getting old, but this kindness does make such a difference."
One of the hospitals set to take on additional patients if the downgrade of Chase Farm is given the go-ahead today has launched an extensive recruitment drive. North Middlesex University Hospital in Stirling Way, Edmonton, is expected to be dealing with extra patients through maternity and accident and emergency admissions by the end of the year. To cope with the additional demand, the hospital trust says it has already recruited 230 new clinical members of staff and plans to take on 210 nurses and midwives, 100 healthcare assistants and 80 other medical professionals, as well as 30 scientific, technical and therapeutic positions. Chief Executive Julie Lowe said, "It is great news for the hospital that we are in a position to recruit 450 staff. We are confident we can deliver the changes successfully and safely, and that there will be enormous health benefits for the community we serve. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all our patients and staff. More than £200 million has been spent on rebuilding parts of North Mid, including new medical and surgical wards and a refurbished cancer ward, and work continues on the maternity unit and midwife-led birthing centre. Anyone interested in positions at the hospital can go to www.togetherwework.co.uk for further information."
An aspiring teacher has spoken of her gratitude to the Advertiser after college bosses found room for her to study. Louise Tamber of High Street, Ponders End, was thrilled when she was accepted onto the Accessing Higher Education course at the Enfield Highway campus of the College of Haringey, Enfield and North East London in Hertford Road before the summer, after passing the entry assessments with flying colours. But her dreams crumbled when her course was unceremoniously binned on the very day she was due to start. After receiving her student ID card, she was told to turn up for her first class on September the 16th, but as soon as she arrived at the college, she knew something was wrong. Louise explained, "The receptionist said she didn't have any information about my course, but sent me to room 18, the room my course is usually taught in, but there was nobody there. They called a teacher, who came and just told me they had shut down the course." The 20-year-old student, who is aiming to become a primary school teacher, was told that the course had been scrapped because only 8 students had enrolled. Instead, she was advised to contact the college's campus in High Road, Tottenham, to see if there were any places available there. Louise was then told there might be one place on the course she wanted, but she would have to get to the campus and apply all over again. She rushed to the campus, only to be told the place was no longer open. When contacted about Louise's treatment, a spokeswoman for the college last week said, "We reserve the right to withdraw courses if we are unable to recruit the numbers required to run a class." But she stressed college chiefs were investigating exactly what had happened in Louise's case. Now the Advertiser can reveal that following our intervention, the college has relented and told Louise that someone has dropped out and she can have that place. The thrilled student thanked the Advertiser and added, "The course director apologised to me and said they could offer me a place because someone dropped out. I'm just so happy. Now I can do the course I always wanted to do."
Good job too. A skip company and its owner have been fined after placing an unlicensed skip on the road 5 times. Ina Skips was fined £200 and ordered to pay a £20 victim surcharge, while owner and manager Lazaros Oresti was fined £300 and ordered to pay a £30 victim surcharge after being prosecuted by Enfield Council. The company pleaded guilty to the offences, while Oresti was found guilty in his absence at Enfield Magistrates Court on September the 6th. The court also ordered that the council's cost of £1,948.50 should be paid between them. Arrestee and the company had paid 8 fixed penalty notices for a similar offence over the past 2 years, and the company was unable to obtain skip licences as its public liability insurance had run out. Chris Bond, the council's cabinet member for Environment, said, "This prosecution sends out a strong message that we will not tolerate illegal obstructions of the road in this borough. We operate a licensing scheme for skips so we can keep our roads and pavements clear and minimise traffic disruption as far as possible. People cannot just throw skips down wherever they choose, because it can cause chaos and severely inconvenience people going about their daily business."
2 new schemes have been launched to tackle pollution levels in a tributary of the River Lee. Work will begin early next year at Grovelands Park in the Bourne, Southgate, to create a wet woodland area to restore the watercourse as part of a scheme to make sure runoff into Salmons Brook is as clean as possible. Work will also begin near Bury Park Lodge on the site of a former council depot in Bury Street West, Bush Hill Park, where council workers will create a sustainable drainage park using natural wetland features to clean water running off roads and pavements. It has been designed to complement ongoing works as part of the Salmons Brook Flood Alleviation Scheme. Enfield Council has also announced it will be working with environmental campaign group Thames 21 and the Environment Agency to create 4 more environmentally friendly drainage systems along the banks of Salmons Brook. Cabinet Member for Environment Chris Bond said, "This scheme protects the environment for future generations, reduces the risk of flooding and uses natural features to achieve both aims. It's also an excellent example of a sustainable solution to a modern problem and one that we are eagerly embracing. We are constantly looking for new ways of solving problems, and this scheme brings together a wide range of people and organisations to really make a difference in this borough. The scheme started last year and will continue into 2015, with groups from the borough managing the projects."
A new cashless parking system due to be launched in November has been met with scepticism from shop owners. In 2 months' time, cashless parking will be extended to all street parking zones in Enfield, allowing motorists to pay to park in the borough via mobile phones or SMS or with an app. But despite hopes that the scheme will make it easier for drivers to pay and be more cost-effective for Enfield Borough Council, shopkeepers voice fears that it will hinder business rather than help them. Vic Smith of Vic Smith Beds in Southby Road fears for the future of town shops. He said it's absolutely crazy to put in this type of system, which will prevent shoppers from coming to town centres in Enfield. He feels as if councillors are in cahoots with out-of-town shopping centres that are not doing as well as they should be. I think that if I had known this would happen, I might have thought twice about bringing my business to Enfield. Under the new system, all pay and display machines will have stickers to explain to customers how to pay and have a location number for each parking zone. This means motorists will enter how long they want to park and the security number on the back of their credit or debit card to pay. Mr. Smith, who owns another shop in Winchmore Hill Road, Southgate, is dubious it will be taken up by those who are not used to technology. He added, "I worry for the elderly who are not used to punching numbers into a mobile phone and giving card details away, which will drive them out of the town. Then there's young mums who drive into town with young children and could be distracted from their children paying on the mobile." Gary Cousaloo, who owns Good Looking Optics in Jenison Road, Enfield, said, "I'm concerned that this will present a problem for the senior citizens of our borough and could put them off. Parking is a major issue in the town, and I think the system should attract shoppers with a cheaper rate instead of changing the whole system."
We've reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Audrey, Phil, Jenny and Keith on the controls, it's
Good night.
Goodbye.